Welcome to another edition of what the heck is this, Don? It says Coffee Talk with Ed and Donny. Is that true?
I think it
Is that a
is.
lie?
Well, the only lie might be that I don't drink coffee.
What are you drinking this morning? Scotch? I on to scotch this early in the morning?
It's too early for scotch. Like coffee, scotch is an acquired taste.
Yes,
You
and I
know,
like both of them. Well, I haven't had scotch in a bazillion years because I enjoy myself on scotch and nobody else does.
I've got a funny scotch story, but let's do our
Figure.
disclaimer.
All the statements by Eddie Buffalo and Donny Lowe are purely for entertainment purposes.
So wherever you view or listen to these podcasts that we do, and we really appreciate it, make sure that you like. More importantly, subscribe so that you get some information earlier than others. And hit that fan mail button so that you can send us information. Send us your questions. TikTokers, Eddie loves TikTok. So communicate with them that way. And we really do appreciate you. So thank you.
That's why we appreciate you, Donny Lowe. Let me tell you what. So I got to tell you, so as you see, I am representing Niagara University. Both of my daughters go there right now.
That's right. I see that. And you have got your nice shamrock hat on.
I do. And so I'm working out this morning at the gym. Good thing there's not smell-o-vision because I haven't showered yet.
Oh, boy.
And so I'm sitting there and the fellow comes up to me and says, "Y'all ever been in Niagara Falls?" I said, "Yeah."
Is that how he said it?
He did. I know my accent's horrible. I got to slow it down a little bit for Coach Lee. Y'all ever been to Niagara Falls? How's that? Better?
It sounds good. You said Niagara Falls, just like you said New Orleans.
Yeah. And I said, "Oh, my daughter goes to school there, blah, blah, blah. And I grew up in Buffalo." He goes, "I froze when I went to Niagara Falls. It was like 42 degrees. I'm like, "Oh, buddy, you have no idea."
Have you ever been to the falls in the winter?
Oh yeah, a million times.
It is so beautiful, when the mist of the falls freezes on the trees, and it's really spectacular if you can handle the cold.
Oh, it kills me because you're host of what's the name of your new show? Always Starting Over.
Starting over.
Bex and a friend of hers, I guess last year went to Niagara Falls before they even knew us.
Oh wow!
And guess what they didn't do, Don? They didn't go to the Canadian side. I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
She
the
goes,
Canadians. Well, you could talk about the Canadian side, the difference, I guess.
It's more touristy, a lot more stuff going on. I don't know. Last time I was there, it seemed like every time you turned around, there was like a couple pot dispensaries on every corner, and I'm not even exaggerating. There's a ton.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I did notice a couple, but it's been a while since I've been on the Canadians. I think since before COVID, actually.
Well, it's the only place you can go have your Swiss chalet done.
That's true. But one of the nice things on the Canadian side is viewing the falls. So you're across the lower Niagara River, and you can really have a beautiful view of both the American and the Horseshoe or Canadian Falls. The nice thing on the American side, though, is that you're within 10 feet or less of the crest of the falls, where the water goes down the falls. It's really, you feel the power.
I remember taking the kids over by Table Rock when they were little, and you could look down and you could see. I mean, the water is so clear that it's going right over the falls.
Yeah. It's
I got a question for you, Don.
All right. Hopefully, I've got an answer.
Well, people usually say, "Oh, well, the view is so much nicer from the Canadian side." Do you know why that is, Don?
Other than because you're across the gorge and you can see it better, or
no, because y'all looking at America.
There you go. That's true. So
yeah.
let me real quick just tell you a funny Scotch story.
Is it really funny, or do you think it's funny?
I think it's funny, but I think you will think it's funny.
Okay,
So
go ahead.
this was a while ago. I don't know, at least 10 years ago. And the church that I belong to, they had a Scotch tasting event. Now, I really don't drink Scotch. And again, it's really an acquired taste.
You either
And
like it or you don't.
yeah, exactly. But so they had this Scotch tasting event, and I was in Syracuse for the day. I went right from Syracuse. I went right to the event, and so of course, I didn't eat dinner or anything like that. It was an evening event, and so when you get there on like a placement paper placemat, they had a bunch of circles with numbers, and then the gentleman that was conducting this Scotch tasting, he had like little cups, 1 ounce cups, but they just filled just a little bit with the different Scotches to taste. So he'll talk about the nuances. This Scotch, you can taste the peat in it, and this one not so much. This one's more smoky flavored. So, I'm taking like little sips, right? So, because again, I really don't drink Scotch. I didn't care
It
for
isn't
it, but
like
I
you're a
wanted to
big
learn
guy,
about it.
man. It
Yeah.
can't take much to get you hammered.
No, exactly. So there was this woman there. I was at a table with a bunch of guys, and there was one woman there, and her name is Mary, and she's noticing that I'm only taking like a sip for the taste, and I wasn't finishing it. So she's hey Don. She says, are you gonna finish that? I said no. She says, can I have it?
Ha!
Sure.
You didn't
So,
care about your boy germs, Don.
oh my God. So, and she was probably, at the time, she was probably 80 years old, right? So,
That's why she is 80. She was pickled.
I know. So near the end of it, she ended up just taking like all the Scotch that I didn't drink and just combined it into her plastic cup and just kind of downed it. I was like, oh my God. So the guy started calling her Single Malt Mary.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh
That's
my God.
funny.
Yeah.
Well,
So
it's funny because we talk about ages, and I mean, there in the insurance world, the actuaries think that there's actually somebody walking this earth that is going to be 150 years old.
yeah. Or
Which is
120.
insanity.
120.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Just so you know, Don, you had 30 million people watching you when we started this.
Oh boy, they must. Maybe they like the Scotch story.
You must think you're super sexy today, Don. Which you normally are. I get that.
Yeah.
But
So,
I tell you, I don't miss drinking. Every once in a while, like especially during football season, you
Oh,
like
yeah.
to have a couple. But we went to lunch yesterday, and it's the first time I've had a carbonated beverage since 2014, and it was not a great idea. I got like maybe had a couple sips, and I just get so filled up in that. For a lot of people that don't know, I had that bariatric surgery where I only have a 4-ounce stomach, so I'm very careful what I put in me because I can't fit much.
No, you have to be very careful, so be selective, get the good stuff in you, right?
Oh, 100%.
So the carbonated beverage, so like a Pepsi, Coca-Cola, how is it referred to in Texas?
Soda pop. Y'all want a soda? You want a Coke? You want a Coke?
Yeah. A Coke could be anything, right? It could be a Fanta or whatever.
But you know what's ginormous here, which I never knew, was Dr. Pepper.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. That's
They
interesting.
love their Dr. Pepper down here. And they have all different flavors down here, Don.
Oh, really? I've seen like the
Dr.
cream
Pepper,
soda flavor.
vanilla Dr. Pepper. Yeah, I've seen that. Lime Dr. Pepper, all kinds of crazy stuff, which I'm wondering if they do different ones because it goes with different alcoholic beverages, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that could be.
Maybe.
Is Mountain Dew big there too?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I know that you see Dr. Pepper stuff everywhere because it is a Texas thing, I guess.
Yeah, but it is soda. So, in Buffalo, it's pop.
So
it's pop.
I got to tell you an interesting story. I know you like the music stories.
Yeah.
and my buddy Ike, because I see him at the gym every morning. We, trade songs back and forth. We come over something on our playlist. And he sent me over Edgar Winter.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And I go, hey, before I leave, catch me because I have a story for you because I actually met Edgar Winter.
Oh, cool.
When I owned my basketball team, I also had a ticket company called Clicky Ticks. And we would do tickets for different venues. And he happened to be playing a winery out in Dunkirk, New York. I believe the name of it was Willow Creek Winery. And
Sounds
Edgar Winter, him and his group were playing there. And have you ever seen a professional contract for musicians, Don? I don't know. A lot of people haven't.
No.
Well, they call it backlines because a lot of these guys don't travel with their instruments. So you supply them with drum kit, a guitar or bass. I have extra stuff on things. But it was interesting because that was the only contract I ever saw that everything on that stage had to be exact. Because a lot of people didn't know that Edgar Winter was an albino and he was legally blind.
Ah, okay.
So every stage, no matter where he played, had to be the same.
The same.
So muscle memory, he would know where everything is. I mean, because we were talking about the song Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Because he's playing all these instruments. And when I met him, if he was 90 pounds soaking wet, that was a lot. He was.
I know. Yeah, I mean, even on the album covers, he looks like you can see bone, all over.
And he was a lot older when I met him.
Oh, yeah.
But it was interesting. He was a very nice guy.
Oh, that's cool. It's great to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times, like, not that he's an idol or hero or anything like that for you, but you meet somebody famous that you kind of look up to, and they turn out to be like, you know what? He's not a nice guy. He's kind of.
I mean, I was never a big fan, but I thought it was kind of interesting because a lot of people. I mean, it is iconic music. Everybody, even if you don't like them, the songs.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's funny. Did you hear about Yacht Rock?
Yacht Rock?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
So when I first heard of Yacht Rock, I'm like, what is this crap? I don't know this. So I'm sitting down for dinner one night. I'll put that on, something in the background. And I see why it is popular because all the freaking words to the song.
Yeah.
And it's flipping ridiculous.
Yeah, it's true. It's like the music that, you don't think about until you hear it, and it's like you know it.
Yeah,
Christopher Cross and a bunch of even Eagles and sometimes Doobie Brothers are on there and Foreigner.
After we get off the air, I got to give you some information. I sent Bex your contact information, and I'll send you hers so you guys can figure out when you want to do the show because I think we're going to do a test show.
Okay.
Just so you guys can get comfortable working together, and if it turns out good, we'll post it.
Yeah.
But we're not going to do that one live. We'll put that in the can.
Yeah, no, and so what Eddie's talking about is the Always Starting Over podcast that will be starting by the end of this month, and looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great. We're going to have great topics. Hopefully, we'll get some good guests on there too, talk about their journey in life. So that'll be fun.
Speaking of guests, I lined up our guest for Monday's show.
Awesome. I was going to ask.
One of my old coaches from Buffalo, Kevin Casey. He owns Casey Fitness. And just by dumb luck, yesterday he shot out a text to everybody that he's ever done business with. And he bought a new building.
Oh, really?
So I wanted to offer him a chance to come on Monday and talk about the new building. It looks beautiful.
Oh, great. Is it in the city?
No. The original place was in Orchard Park, and I believe this is really close to his old place, but it looks a lot nicer. It was basically a garage. They were in one of those metal buildings.
Yeah.
It looks really nice. It'll really step up. And then he called it their forever home for Casey Fitness, which I
thought great.
Wonderful. Interesting dude. I think everybody's going to really like hearing his background in that.
Awesome. I'm
super
looking forward to
positive
that.
guy too. He,
That's great. That's
he
what
would
we
talk,
need more of, positivity.
he
Not
would
like
talk about
yesterday's show.
Oh, I know, right? Like
Hurricanes.
he would even do like lists of positive things to change your life around.
Oh, that's great. I love that
It
stuff.
was interesting. And it's interesting because I don't know if the gentleman's still there, but when I trained there was a gentleman there that was blind.
Oh, really?
And he would fight you
Ah,
because you would call out, they would call out the combinations. And I thought that was really, him and his sister would come on. I don't know if they're still coming. It's been a few years since I've been there. And I just thought that was really interesting,
that is.
Mhm. I can't even remember the man's name.
Yeah, that's a great case of you've got an issue with something, what people would say, a disability, or something that you have to try to overcome, or how can you overcome that? And you turn it completely around, and like you just blow people's minds because look what you can do. So there are people think that you have limits, and you don't, especially if you think about it up here in your mind. It's limitless on what you can do. So as long as you have that attitude, and that vision, there's absolutely nothing that can stop you except yourself.
Well, even us. I mean, we have two daughters that we both have a daughter that's had medical issues over the years. And
Yeah.
I'm just amazed what strong young women they are.
Yeah.
A lot stronger than I'd ever be.
Yeah. And they're very resilient.
Mm-hmm. And I'm proud of everything that she's been doing. And it just surprised me every time I hear something come out of her mouth that she's accomplished at school or that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I know. Likewise for me and my daughters.
She has a pain in the ass because she's just like me.
Yeah, oh my! There's not room in the world for two of you.
So she gave a presentation at one of these conferences she went to. And she was the only one that got an award from Niagara University, because there was a bunch of universities there.
Oh wow!
And her, the professor that teaches her and she works close with, said, "Katie, you really talk great. How did you learn how to do that?" He goes, "My dad. He taught me how to talk the paint off a wall." So, it's Katie being Katie,
She learned to chip off the old block,
Yeah.
That's awesome. Congrats for her. That's wonderful.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's funny how people think of different things. And I was still taken aback that somebody stopped me and say, "Hey, you go to Niagara Falls," because I've told this story a million times, and I told it to the gentleman before. My one daughter went to Texas A&M Commerce for her psych degree, and I would come down here, and everybody doesn't believe this story, but it happened, So I came down in December, and it was a little snowy out, At that time, I was surprised because I went to Commerce a couple of days ago, and it is amazing how much is built up around the campus just since she went there. And pretty much it was a Walmart there, and a little bar called the Kilted Monkey, which had great T-shirts. I wish I still had that. And I said, "Well, while you're in class, I'm going to use your car. I'm going to go, get some groceries or whatever I was getting at Walmart." And I got pulled over by the cops. And it had to be like maybe itty bitty little snow, And if anybody knows me, I drive like an old man. I'm not the best driver in the world. I'm super slow.
So you weren't speeding. You weren't swerving.
And he pulls me over. I go, "Excuse me, sir. Well, why did you pull me over? I mean, I signaled. I don't go fast." He goes, "Can't y'all see the snow?" And I'm like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "Sir, I'm from Buffalo, New York." He goes, "Oh, keep going." So, like I said, I've told that story a bunch of times, and people think I'm making it up, but that is not a made-up story.
Oh my God, that's funny. That's funny.
But it's perception. What we think is nothing. This is a major thing. I know a couple of years ago when they had that big ice storm here in February, everything shut down, Don, for a week.
Well, yeah, I mean, because
God put it there. God's gonna take it away. It's like you have salt trucks in that,
I know. It's ironic because you talk about like the snow and the difference in weather. So up here in Buffalo, on the radio station, there people are calling in because they were talking about because there are a lot of people that are from Buffalo that either snowbird in Florida, or have moved to Florida. But they're saying, boy, would you rather have the blizzard that we had, in Christmas of
Yeah.
2022, or go through the hurricane with all that water and the tornadoes and everything,
Well, here's what's crazy about Texas this time of year, Don, and especially people know my pain if they have low profile tires on their vehicle like I do, is that when it goes really hot to really cold back and forth, it screws up the tire pressure.
Oh, yeah.
So this morning when I left for the gym, it was 62 degrees, still decent.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going up to 90. And that's pretty much the forecast for the rest of the weekend, too. I mean, Saturday, 94, 65. Sunday, 96, 60. Monday, 85, 54. That's the day I'm going to have trouble with my tires. I know already.
Yeah. It'll say low pressure in the morning, right?
And luckily, a guy named Jack, he's part of one of my networking groups. And I said, Jack, I'm having all kinds of trouble with these tires. It's driving me nuts. I know. I love the car, but the tires, the low profile tires, are just back home when it got super cold. I had trouble.
Yeah.
Here, just bouncing from hot to a little bit cooler is screwing up. And he goes, overinflate them 10 pounds. I'm like, what? He goes, most tires in America are rated over 15 pounds where it should be. So it's pretty hard to overinflate a tire, supposedly. Don't take my word for it, okay? It's worked for me, but I usually go 10 pounds over, and it gets me through on these days where it's like a ping pong ball.
I wonder if you, for, I don't know if they still do it, but certain company that sells tires up here in Buffalo, in Western New York, they, instead of using regular air, they use nitrogen, I think it is. Is that right? Nitrogen?
Yeah. I know my ex had, when she had her Dodge Avenger, they had nitrous in all those tires. And that's kind of expensive to replace.
Oh, is that? Yeah. But I'm wondering if that would have less of an impact with temperature changes or when it gets cold. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Interesting.
But,
interesting.
Yeah. Like I said, perception is everything. Going back to what the gentleman Gordon said. We were talking about that perception. What was it called again? Perception management.
Yeah.
Where a lot of companies, including the government and sales companies, are talking about perception, what people think about. Look at what we do for a living. We're insurance agents. Like, oh, I ain't gonna talk to them. I don't want to talk to those fellas. Or it's just like being a car salesman. Oh, he's just one of them kind of guys. Well, no. I mean, we try our best to help people in their time of need so that life can go on for the people they leave behind, just like they were still there. I'll never forget when I first started in the business and I handed out my first death benefit to a widow. She starts bawling and I go, you know what? While he was alive, you both took care of each other. But because he got there, and that, that's the day my job went from a job to a career to a passion.
Yeah.
Because you directly see what we're doing does for family at their lowest point.
Exactly.
Nobody expects their loved one to die. Even if they're in hospice and you're expecting them to pass, when it happens, it still hits you like a ton of bricks.
Oh, yeah.
We're all human.
Absolutely. Like you said, even when you're expecting it to happen and it happens, it's still like you don't expect it to happen. It's like, it does hit you like a ton of bricks,
Mm-hmm.
But we'll make that.
What's up for the rest of the weekend, Donnie?
Tomorrow is supposed to be nice. I think around high is going to be in the low 60s. So it's definitely cooling down, but it's going to be sunny. So I want to get a lot of things done, take the screens off the windows, stuff.
Yeah.
Get ready for winter, basically.
That's one thing I do miss about being home is Mayor Brothers cider.
Oh yeah.
But it's hard to find apple cider in Texas.
Is it really?
Yeah. I've gone to Wally World. I've gone to the little stores here. I've gone to Brookshire's. The only place that I've been able to find cider is Aldi's of all places.
Really? See, I would have thought maybe like a store like Buc-ee's would have had it. Is that Buc-ee's?
Bucky's has a lot of stuff, but I don't think they have cider because it's such a seasonal thing.
Yeah.
One
of my daughters used to work at Mayor Brothers cider.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so it was great because she would, I'd pick her up from work. This is before she could even drive. I'd pick her up from work, and she's
it's funny. Their one warehouse right on Transit Road there used to be the Pelhamwood House. It used to be.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the name. Right, it was a banquet facility.
And my Aunt Peggy worked there as a waitress for many years.
Oh, really?
And then as I was older, they had like different business expos and things like that I went to. And at one point, I went and saw. You're not going to believe this. I saw Blue Oyster Cult at that building.
At the Pelhamwood? Really?
An empty building that they were just using as an event center.
Wow.
But it wasn't great. It wasn't that good at all, But as they're older, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I do miss that, especially my daughter Allie. She waits every year for that place to open.
Oh yeah. I'm sure there's lines out the door typically. Because they make their donuts too, so you can buy donuts, fresh cider.
I never liked their donuts, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they're okay.
That's great.
Yeah, they're okay.
In Texas, every time you turn around, there's a donut shop here.
Isn't that funny? So what's the big donut shop in Texas?
There's not really any big ones. They're all like little small mom and pops. I mean, you got a Dunkin' Donuts I see every once in a while. But my favorite here in Greenville, Texas, got to be Snowflake. Funny. Snowflake. They got the best tasting donut. The breakfast stuff is pretty good. They have like sausage and ham and bacon and croissant sandwiches.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And that really gross looking like organ meat that we talked about once before. I forget that.
That's right.
I don't really care the name of it because it looks gross. I don't want to even know what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
how do the donuts compare to something that you would get in Buffalo? Not like, even a Timmy's or Dunkin' or a Paula's or
like a Paula's always seemed very heavy to me.
Mm-hmm.
Timmy Ho's always seemed light. This seems like somewhere in the middle, especially their apple fritters are delicious.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Like, remember Freddy's Donuts?
I do.
Yeah.
See, the big one that when I was a kid on South Park Avenue, like right on the border of South Buffalo and Lackawanna, was a place called Mangano's Donuts.
Ah.
And they had the best hard rolls. I could taste them right now. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Isn't that fun? Yeah, I'm starting to get hungry all of a sudden.
And my dad was a little fella. He was like, kind of like, for years I looked for a ring that was kind of like his wedding ring.
Oh, okay.
And the problem is his wedding. I didn't realize how tiny he was, but his wedding ring don't even fit on my pinky.
Oh, really?
And because of the design, I couldn't cut it and have it made for myself. So I finally found one.
Good for you. Good for you.
The reason I'm telling you, he was a little guy. Like he loved to eat. He loved his sweets. We grew up in Little Hollywood, which is a little neighborhood, which is Smith Street, Exchange Street, Clifford Street. It used to be walled in by viaducts. And
right.
Long gone. And there used to be a place called Quality Donuts. And he would come home every payday with pastry hearts.
Oh, I love those. He
would go in between like regular cheesecake. I know he was big on the pineapple cheesecake and the cherry cheesecake. And what was cool is because they had a little store right next to him that had for real penny candy.
Oh,
you grab your brown bag and just fill it up. It was just, I couldn't even tell you the name of it. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, we
Those
are.
days are long gone, unfortunately.
Well, you know what's funny, Don? Have you and the wife ever gone to Buffalo Distillery?
No.
Buffalo Distillery is right
On Seneca? Is it on Seneca Street?
Seneca in Larkinville.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's so close to my old neighborhood that if you sit in the front window and look to the left, you can see my old neighborhood. One of the houses is actually the house that I grew up in until I
Oh,
was 6 years
really?
old, and it's one of the few houses that are still down there.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
And what opened up next to them? Paula's Donuts.
Yeah, that's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
because you ever see people taking pictures with the big donut, the donut person that they have, like the little photo op it's right down there in Larkinville.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
We
There's
saw
also
a really
that diner, not City.
oh, I'm the like 50s diner. I can't remember the
Yeah.
name. If that's not Lake Effect. Lake Effect was on Elmwood or
No,
Delaware.
that was on Main Street, I think.
Was that on
Lake
Main Street?
Effect.
I can't
Yeah.
remember. Because it was always across the street from the comic shop, Buffalo Comics or whatever
Oh
that
yeah,
was
that was
called.
Main Street near UB.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that diner, I forgot. City Diner. No,
But
whatever it is. It's
they have
Swan Street Diner,
homemade.
right?
Yeah, it's like right near where the Swan Lounge was. They
Right.
actually would have these itty bitty homemade donuts that are delicious.
Yeah.
I just can't
Yes.
remember the name of the place down there.
Yeah.
But
It's
we
on
went
the
down
it's on the
there.
menu.
There's like a really cool Beatles covered band in Buffalo, New York, and the old Swan Lounge. I forget what it is now. It's another like distillery, brewery type place. There's so many of these things now.
Yeah.
But every year, once a year, they would go on top of the roof and play for everybody. They would put fences and wall off all the streets. It was a great time. I loved it. I really did.
That's cool. I wonder if they still
I still
do
got a
that.
T-shirt from that. Yeah,
That would be
I
awesome.
can't remember the name of them, but they sounded just like the Beatles. They truly did.
Cool. How cool. Oh my God, that's awesome.
But well, listen, I think we had enough coffee talk for today.
Yeah.
I
We
like
didn't even talk about coffee, so we'll do that the next time.
I'm drinking my delicious coffee.
Oh,
I
okay.
started putting honey in it, and it made a difference, 100%.
Oh, yeah, cool.
My favorite coffee that I'm drinking this morning is French vanilla. I bought it yesterday, and I wanted to try it. But the one that I like the best that they have down here is cinnamon vanilla.
Ooh.
Oh my God, it's so good, Don. Like I said, I got a small stomach, so if I'm going to eat or drink something, it's got to be very flavorful for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Did some exploring yesterday too in the town of Farmersville. Very cool place. Very similar to where my old office was in McKinney Square.
Oh,
Just a little bit smaller. Like a lot of little shops, a lot of little antique shops. And a lot of the buildings down there are for sale. But what really scares me, like there was this one cool building that I would love to purchase because on the bottom it's retail and on the top you can make it into a loft apartment. And the thing is, it was built in 1843.
Oh my gosh.
So what do you have to deal with when you have a building that old? Historical societies and things like that.
Yeah.
It actually used to be an old Masonic lodge. That's the only reason I knew the age, because it was up on the eaves. But what was really super cool is like there was like 3 old entrances. And so there was like a little ledge, like a little lip before you walked into the building. And it was all this very heavy metal stuff. And it was all intricate in design. It had like the address of the building on it and things like that. Like something Masonic Lodge and all that. You don't see stuff like this.
No, that's true. So heavy metal, I mean, is it like Metallica heavy metal or AC/DC?
Those guys are trash. I'm not even going to go into that story when I met them when I was a bellhop. And they're trash. It wasn't good. It wasn't good.
Okay. Wow. You know what? We could do it on a future podcast.
Yes.
And not say the name.
Trash Metallica. Yes. Yes. I'll trash them and the Scorpions. They were the biggest jerks on the face of the planet.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Scorpions, when it came time, it was the only band that ever stiffed me. Because when it came time, tip time, guess who didn't know how to speak English all of a sudden? Yeah.
Where are they from? Are they from
Germany.
Denmark? Oh, Germany. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So screw you, Scorpions. You suck.
Don't forget we're live.
Well, even like I'll be listening to like different songs on YouTube Music, and it's like I gotta turn that off. It's Scorpions. Losers. Yeah. Same thing with Bon Jovi. I never met Bon Jovi, but I still hold a grudge because he tried to buy the Buffalo Bills and take him to Toronto.
You know what? I have to say this about him. Yes, because whether it was a rumor or not,
I don't care what nice things he does. He tried to steal our Buffalo Bills.
Just a minute. So all the listeners and viewers know Bon Jovi, when the Buffalo Bills were going to be up for sale after the prior owner passed, Ralph Wilson, it was rumored that Bon Jovi was going to purchase the Bills.
Oh, it wasn't a rumor. He was trying
to move them to Toronto. And then Donald Trump came in and says, I'll buy the Bills and keep them in Buffalo.
Now, it's funny that you said that, Don, because Donald Trump has said in interviews that if he was successful in buying the Buffalo Bills, he would have never run for president. So
yeah,
you could blame Terry Bagula for Donald Trump's political career.
If that's what you want to do, if that's your viewpoint.
Yes.
But so the point with Bon Jovi, so Bon Jovi's kind of left a real bad taste in people from Bills fans, right?
For the longest time, 97 Rock wouldn't even play their records.
Yeah, but I have to say, he's a very grounded person. He's been married to his high school sweetheart.
That's all I got to say.
He's married to his high school sweetheart for however many years.
Yeah, she's probably a loser too.
He moved his family out of L.A. because of the poison that that they can be subjected to. What's going on there, So I have to give him credit. It's tough.
No, but he sucks. He's dead to me. I will never listen to his music. It's horrible. It's really funny. Him and his guitarist haven't talked in like 20 years. You always wonder what the hell happened. That you were together, you're brothers in arms, trying to build something big, and you built something, and then you never talked to the dude for 20 years because you're so pissed off about God only knows, and usually it's something stupid.
They probably forgot what it was about. It's like,
yeah,
what were we? It was probably money or artistic direction or something.
So
like, you look at Lennon and McCartney.
We got something big happening in the EBSM Incorporated world that we're going to be talking about on Monday during the boxing show. So I'm super excited about it. Donnie doesn't even know.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep it like that because, he likes telling stories. So
I don't tell stories. Not out of school.
But once again, if you like hanging out with people that are just like you, drinking coffee, even though Donnie's not drinking coffee, this is Coffee Talk with Eddie and Donnie. We just wanted to have some fun today. And as we can see, we had a bunch of people on. We had 30 million at one point, which they've dropped on. They must be Bon Jovi fans or Scorpion fans.
Fans. It was either that or Trump, right?
Got mad at or Trump. Yeah, right. So, but we're out of here. So, Donnie, you have a great weekend, buddy. I'm sure I'll catch up with you later today.
Sounds good.
And remember, everybody, life's worth living. Be good to yourself and keep on. What is it, Don? Keep on punching, baby.
Keep on punching.
All right. Take care now.
You too. Take care.
You gotta do your stuff. Gotta do your stuff, man.
Ciao. Arrivederci.
Oh, you did both. That's pretty good.